Hello, welcome to my shitty synopsis or review, I guess, of Friday the 13th. I've never fucking done it before, so I don't really know what to say. And I don't really. Does this qualify as a review? Okay, well, the opening scene of this movie, I guess it's supposed to be in like the original Camp Crystal Lake, uh, probably right around the time when Jason dies. So this you have the first person view of the killer, whoever it may be. I mean, this movie was made in the '80s, so I might as well say it's fucking Jason's mom. Everybody who has seen this fucking movie knows that she's sneaking through the cabins and she's going to the storage closet. You know, of course, where all the fucking camp counselors and teenagers go to fuck. Gets in there, they're having fucking Catholic high school sex where they're just laying on top of each other like two fucking dead fish, just getting ready to go at it. And I don't even remember, because I didn't pay attention at the beginning of the movie, whether or not the dude got killed. I think he did, but I don't fucking remember. She may have stabbed him or something, and I just didn't even fucking notice it. I'll put like a picture of it just so we know whether or not that actually happened. But we never get to see the chick get killed. She just kind of, runs around and screaming and screams. And I think at one point she threw a box of Jell-O at Mrs. Voorhees. I think the box said Jell-O on it. But then we get to where we think she's going to get stabbed and just freeze frame. And we all just zoom in on the bitch's face and she explodes in the glass. And we get a title card, which looks like fucking 20th Century Fox title card or whatever it is you call it. It was really weird. The graphic at the beginning of the DVD looks so much better than that. I don't know why they didn't do like a chiller font or something. I mean, I know it's horror movie cheesy, but this like invented fucking horror movie cheesy. This and Halloween and Chucky and all of them, but this was one of the first. This came out in 1980. All right. After that, we get to opening of the actual film, which is current day, which I don't remember what it said. I think it said 1980 or 1980, maybe 1981, something like that. I don't really think the date that all of this happens actually matters. And you're introduced to Hitchhiker Girl, who is a camp counselor who never actually makes it to camp. How the fuck was she hitchhiking there anyway? And I guess this was more of a thing in 1980, so it doesn't really matter. And she is actually the only character in the whole movie that I remembered her name, because I wrote it down. Nobody's name in this movie really matters, because they're all just like fodder for being stabbed. She's walking around this town that looks like it's probably just no-name whatever town, fucking south somewhere, where almost every business is closed down, and the people that you meet are going to be weird and rude. She goes into, I think it was a bar, maybe? A bar, some sort of diner or something. Kind of looked like a gas station. It may be all three. This is middle of fucking nowhereville, so, they may have been like all those businesses closed down and they just decided to fucking consolidate. She's asking about Camp Crystal Lake. I need a ride. I need to get to Camp Crystal Lake. And everybody's like, why are you going to Camp Crystal Lake? Bad shit happened down there. You don't want to go there. Don't go. That's pretty much all they say. It's just don't go to Camp Crystal Lake. Camp Crystal Lake's haunted. It's cursed. Don't go there. But, of course, who gives people a ride in horror movies but Fat Trucker Guy? It's like every time someone gets a ride, it's always like the weirdo. But this dude doesn't actually do anything to hurt her, because there's only one bad guy in Friday the 13th. There's never anybody else. It's Jason or Jason's mom. That's it. So you literally know from any other character that ever shows up, you have nothing to fear. So just jumps in truck with weird trucker guy, and they're heading on down the road, and the conversation that they have in the truck is great. It's just it continues on the same thing. It's just, don't go to Camp Crystal Lake. Don't go. And she's like, but I'm gonna go anyway. It's my job. And he's like, man, fuck the new generation. Like this. I love this part because it's like that perpetual cycle where it just always happens no matter what time period is the new generation is fucking stupid. Then after that, we get another amazing scene where we're introduced to new characters. It's it's just like this old truck that it's one of those trucks that it's not an SUV, but it has like the thing put over the bed. I don't even know what you fucking call that, but it's like a truck SUV or whatever. And they've got this fucking crazy banjo music playing, and I'll put it in here. But they're just driving along down this fucking road in the middle of nowhere in fucking Farmville, like middle fucking America, like this, like you're looking at it and you're like, does this scene even still exist anymore? Where is this place? Especially since all the grass is cut and the farm buildings actually look nice. They're not like run down, and you're not like, I wonder whether or not a meth head lives there. After that, we're pulling up to the camp, same group of people in the truck SUV, and we get this introduction to who the guy that owns the camp now. He's standing outside chopping away at a stump, which I don't know why he's even fucking with a stump to start with, but he's shirtless. He has a bandana tied around his neck for no fucking reason. I don't even know what the purpose of this could possibly be. And he's in jorts, jean shorts, and just like half calf boots. Like, the first thing I thought when I saw this dude is like, this dude is gay as fuck. Either that or he's like a fucking pedophile. And then right after the, oh hey, how are you doing? You know, we're so and so. We get this stupid little introduction that just any human being has to do when meeting some weirdo like that. We go to a scene in front of a cabin where this chick with a haircut that makes her look like preteen Justin Bieber is trying to reattach a gutter. She's trying to nail a gutter back up, and it's like not even like a new gutter. So like you'd think if you were buying a camp and you were gonna repair everything, you would at least clean the shit before you put it back up there. But this thing is like disgusting and covered in mold, and she's just nailing it back up. Why are you even doing that? But Jorts comes up and they start talking, and she is acting like she wants to leave, and she probably wants to leave because she's been sexually harassed by Jorts at some point. And this is kind of like proven because he's like, oh, he gives like this, oh baby, like just stay one more night, just give me one more night. And he reaches out and he like touches her a little bit, and I'm like, pedophile confirmed. Fuck this guy. Alright, immediately after that, we just cut past this point, just so the one adult, even though he doesn't seem to be the most responsible adult in the movie, is just heading the fuck off into town to go buy fucking, I don't know, date rape drugs and some rope. Date rape drugs and some rope. You know, what the fuck else is he gonna be buying in town? with all of these young kids around his camp, with only him around. You'd think he would be the bad guy, but no, not him. Oh god. Alright, so this chick that later in the movie, because I don't fucking know their names, so I just called her grandma, because it's a little bit later on in the movie she'll be wearing this fucking like nightgown that makes her look like she's 82 years old. She's out on the archery field, range, whatever the fuck you call it. She's cleaning it up. She's putting up one of the very, very beaten up pieces of archery equipment. And Jackass, I think Jackass's name is Bill, because they have this thing where they kind of like put two characters together and they kind of stay together throughout the movie. I don't know why they did it like that. I don't know that the whole crew ever got all together at once. Some of these people may have never even met. But anyway, dude just fucking rears back and shoots an arrow at her. Like, pretty narrowly misses killing her. Like, could have just been killed by an accident instead of... Wait a minute. No, she gets killed later. Okay. Sometimes I forget who got killed, but everybody got killed except for Justin Bieber. Justin Bieber's the only one that didn't get killed. I mean, that was just horrible and dumb. Like, why would you do that? Alright. Okay, so we Move back to Hitchhiker Girl after this. Hitchhiker Girl was dropped off by fat trucker guy and is still trying to make her way down to Camp Crystal Lake. So heading on down the road, she probably really doesn't have very much farther to walk at this point, so I don't know why she would still chance grabbing another ride, but like I said, at this time, this was probably pretty normal. Hitchhiking was much more of a normal thing in the 80s. Still very fucking dangerous, but more socially accepted and normal, so people would just do this. And, you know, now we look at a hitchhiker and you're like, I ain't picking you up, fucker. You're probably fucking crazy or something. So she gets in another car, and it is the same Jeep that you see Jorts drive off in. So immediately when you see it, if you haven't seen the movie, I can tell that what they intended here is for you to think that she got picked up by Jorts. So, driving on down the road, they're kind of conversating a little bit, or hitchhiker girl is conversating and the driver of the vehicle is not saying anything at all. So she gets freaked out when they drive past the exit to Camp Crystal Lake that was not very far from where she was. She really could have just walked. She blew it. She killed herself, in my opinion. She's freaked out, and the lady won't stop. Well, I say lady because it's obviously Mrs. Voorhees. Who the fuck else could it be? She jumps out of the car and just like rolls off into a ditch and has hurt herself now. So she just has this like pathetic fucking run into the woods. It's in a lot of horror movies, that thing is really hard to sell. And in my opinion, like for a horror movie, if you really wanted to sell it, you would have someone just fucking like sprinting like as fast as they could. Like, you're really trying to get away. You don't want to die. But this bitch is just like whining and falling, and it's one of those classic horror movie, just they didn't even try to get away things. And eventually Mrs. Voorhees catches up to her like a fucking revenant, just fucking instant transmissions over to her. Like everything's quiet. She's looking around. She's like, oh, I think I got away. And then boom, there she is, slit her throat, bleeds out. She's gone. Bye, hitchhiker girl. You are no longer on the fucking cast. Dead. Here's $20. That's probably about all she got paid to be in this movie in the 80s. Next scene, they are at all the camp counselors. This may be the one part where everybody gets together except for hitchhiker girl because she's already dead. Nobody cares about her. We're at the lake. We're fucking around. There are a bunch of kids just screwing around at the lake, putting little docks together. This is a very, very unimportant scene. I think it just kind of wants them, maybe it's supposed to be like for sex appeal because chicks in swimsuits. I don't know, but I mean, I kind of, when I think about these movies, I kind of think about like, I'm pretty sure they were pretty known to be both pretty graphically violent and over sexual, but that's also like maybe for the times, because to me, with like how movies are now, or how movies even were like later on in the 80s, this is tame as fuck. Anyway, nothing really important comes out of them being by the lake, and they fuck around for a little bit. Some dude pretends that he's drowning. You get this view of like the killer off in the woods just watching them, and that's it. Dude pretends to be drowning. They pull him out of the water. He's like, I'm faking it. And I'm like, yeah, you're fucking stupid. And the killer's probably like, I'm gonna fucking kill that guy. Fuck that guy. Then we have the part with the snake. This is just, I don't really know the point of this either. This is mostly like just maybe them just trying to build like a little bit of a relationship between the characters. But ultimately it's not necessary. But the whole camp like crowds into this one room just because there was a snake in there. And I'm pretty sure they actually killed the snake. It's kind of strange because you don't see stuff like that in movies. Like, you don't actually kill an animal to make a movie. But this was the 80s. So a little bit different, I guess. But I'm pretty sure they actually killed that snake. Okay, all right. Then after that, we get back to some good stuff. We get back to some good parts in the movie. You know what? I may even cut like the last two scenes out because they're fucking completely unimportant. We're outside in the like driveway area of the camp, and we see local police pulling up, just up here to just bother people. You know, just what fucking old white cops do. Just they want to just pull up and just say, "What the fuck are you kids doing?" They want to just come bother people. So dude pulls up, and but you have stupid guy. I don't know what his name is. I think he is the dude that is with grandma for whatever reason. It's like grandma and stupid guy are like the pair, but he's got like a he's got like a football jersey or something like tied around his crotch like it's some kind of fucking diaper or something, and he's wearing an Indian headdress and jumping around and acting like a fucking idiot as this cop is pulling up. And then, of course, stereotypical as fuck, the first thing the cop does is like, "Oh shit, what you been smoking on, dude? Like, you got that grass? You got that weed? You got that marijuana 420 blaze it, motherfucker? Do you have it? You're under arrest. I'm gonna fucking haul you in, you piece of shit." But no, of course, nobody has anything. The only person that actually smokes weed in this movie, if it even was supposed to be that, it looked like a joint, but it could be a cigarette. I don't fucking know. It was fucking Kevin Bacon. And he's not even there for this scene, I don't think. I don't remember if he was or not. It probably really doesn't matter because the cop just pulls up, he harasses the campers for a couple of minutes, and then he gets a call in his little walkie-talkie. He has something actually to do. So he tries to fucking be cool and drive off, but he just ends up looking like a jackass. Like, he drives down the little turnaround area and kind of like fucking spins his tires a little bit and then drives out, but he's like bouncing all over the place because you're trying to ride a big ass motorcycle on a dirt road, and that's fucking hard to do. He just ends up looking like a total fucking tool. But cop is gone. Bye, cop. You're a fucking dildo. Don't come back. If somebody's gonna come back to help the kids, send somebody competent, please. Oh, you know what? I forgot to talk about the crazy guy. Alright, well anyway, crazy guy. Don't know what exactly about him makes him the crazy guy. I think he just, because he doesn't really have any backstory. He's just Ralph, the crazy dude that talks about all the murders that happened down at Camp Crystal Lake. And I have here written down because he said that he was God's messenger or something right like that. And I have Jesus Christ himself shows up and tells everyone that they're doomed and they should stay away from Camp Crystal Lake. And then he kind of just awkwardly runs away. He just like goes out, he like just pushes the door open and goes and gets on his little bike again and just rides away proper as fuck. Like, okay, bye dude, fucking crazy piece of shit. Like, why do they even care that this guy came around if he's obviously harmless? He's just, I guess, just a little mentally ill, maybe. He just seems like he's maybe nothing more than just like a mild inconvenience. You're like, "Oh, you again. What are you doing in my kitchen? I'm trying to make dinner." He's like, "You're all doomed." And then just fucking goes out the door like, "All right, bye, motherfucker." All right, next thing, we have this weird, like, we have this like kitchen scene where it's another one of those character building moments. They're all together. They're having character and character interaction. Blah, blah, blah. What the fuck ever. You're just a piece of meat that I'm waiting to watch you get stabbed. Something is nasty. Somebody says something is gross. Something about meat. Maybe we have one of America's first vegans in here. And then for some reason, turning on the generator makes you macho. I don't understand it. This is Stupid Guy. That's who it was. It was Stupid Guy, the one that was wearing the Indian headdress, talking about how Kevin Bacon, who is going to turn on the generator, is being macho for having done that. I'm like, do you want electricity or not? Like, why are you insulting him? What is wrong with you? After the kitchen scene, we're out by the lake. It's the Baconator and his chosen girl for the movie, whatever her name may be. Like, she, out of anyone here, is the character that I know the least about because she is completely unimportant. Oh, okay. Kevin Bacon has, like, the coolest kill in this movie. He's the only one that actually gets, like, I guess besides, like, something that happens a little bit later, he's the only one that has something, like, mildly creative. Of course, things have changed a lot, so I'm sure all of these were pretty shocking in its time, but it just it doesn't hold up super well compared to newer slasher movies. Like, I'm not even talking about like current day. I'm talking about like stuff that came out later in the 80s and the 90s. But he gets from underneath the bed after Kevin Bacon and his little girlfriend have had the most fucking tame sex ever, where they're just laying on top of each other. Like, he's like, it's missionary position, but it's missionary position if you're a total fucking virgin and they're just laying there. It's like, what the fuck? And she's like, playing it up. It's like, bitch, you're not getting anything out of that. Don't fuck with me. All right, so they're over. She gets up. She walks away. She's going to the bathroom, probably to cry, because she's very disappointed, and she just had to play that up because she really likes him, but she feels bad about how awful that was. And Kevin Bacon's sitting there, pulls out his little J, puts it in his mouth, lights it up, takes him a little hit, and up through the bottom of the bed, stabbed with looked like an arrow. I'm guessing that's what that was. He bleeds out. I mean, it's a pretty cool kill, and like I said, I'm doing pictures, so it'll be on the screen. Boom, here it is. Kevin Bacon getting stabbed in the throat with an arrow. Yeah. While that's happening, it's around the same time. The Kevin Bacon part actually happens after this, but just to let you know what the other characters are, what's going on with the other characters. The order of events here, I guess, doesn't really matter. But the other characters are in, I'm guessing, what is like the kind of shared cabin among everybody, playing Strip Monopoly. I don't know how the fuck exactly you play Strip Monopoly, but we go back to them a couple of times, and the most we have is a dude without his shirt on, so must be pretty hard. Alright. Back to what was happening with the Baconator. Baconator's dead. His girlfriend has gone to the bathroom. She's sitting in a stall, crying, because she's very disappointed. And at this point, she doesn't realize he's dead, but I don't know whether or not she would be sad about that at this point, because it just probably is not going to work out. But she hears noises in the bathroom. She's probably thinking, oh, is it Baconator? Is it somebody else? Are these bathrooms co-ed? I don't fucking know. But it's the killer coming in the bathroom. Take revenge for Jason's death on people that were probably born 20 years after Jason died. Logic of this woman makes no sense at all. She's just fucking insane. Killer comes into the bathroom. I think this is, let me see. Oh, okay. Yeah, this is that one. So Kevin Bacon and his little girlfriend are the only ones that get like a proper kill in the movie. They're the only ones that, maybe it's because of a lot of stuff got cut out. I don't know, but she comes out of the stall. Mrs. Voorhees is just waiting there. Mrs. Voorhees just she's pulling that axe back. Her tool of choice to take revenge on bad camp counselors, and she just getting ready to hit her with the axe. And this chick's just sitting there, wailing, screaming, not moving, just providing a perfectly stationary fucking target. Never even thought about running away. Mrs. Voorhees literally had time at this point to just, she could have hesitated. She could have thought about it. She could be like, you know what? Man, I don't feel like killing this person. She goes all over all this in her head, and then just, axe to face. Dead. That kill really did take way too long. Like, she didn't even try. She didn't even try to get away. She was just a piece of meat. She was just fodder. Now we switch back to the other characters. They're still playing Strip Monopoly, but nobody wins. Nobody wins. Nobody's naked. Of course, if someone's naked, everybody else wins. This Strip Monopoly game just didn't work out very well. So this chick that I don't even remember if she died or not. I probably need to find that and add that in. I'm gonna have to stop for just a second here and find that and add it in. Chick that's wearing a green raincoat that I call Kermit the Frog because I don't know what her name is, and she just looks like the first thing I thought when I saw her walking around was Kermit the Frog. She's leaving. It's time for her to go to bed. She goes to the bathroom. She may have gotten killed off. I think what happened is she got killed off screen in the bathroom. Okay, I know what happened now. The characters in this movie are so easily forgettable. It's so easy to forget who they are because of how like there's no at this point with any of these people there's no name recognition for the actor or anything, and hell, I don't even know that any of them went on to do anything besides Kevin Bacon. It's easy to like forget who is who. So Kermit the Frog is the one that I call Grandma, and she doesn't get killed until a little bit later. And pretty much what happens with her is like she's in the bathroom, and you can see that the killer is like off in the showers. I think you even see like a little bit of a hand, and I kind of thought that was where she was going to get killed, but that's not what happens. She goes back to her cabin. She changes into her fucking grandma ass nightgown, and she's the one from the earlier part that almost got killed by the stupid guy at the archery range, and that's how she dies. She goes back to the archery range, I'm guessing by accident, because she hears like someone outside like, help, help, which I don't know who it was. Maybe it was Mrs. Voorhees yelling that. That's probably the best explanation for that. It's probably Mrs. Voorhees just trying to attract her out of her cabin. And she goes to the archery field, and it's all dark. Everything's dark. Like, I thought at this point all the lights were out, because I think somebody was using a lantern that you light with like oil, which I don't know why you would use that if there were lights around the area by this time. But they flip on all the lights at the archery range, and she just gets fucking pummeled with arrows. Okay, so this movie's really annoying with like showing, not like cutting out what happens, and I really wish that like there was, you know, I don't even know if like the 80s had like an uncut version, like a director's cut version that you could get of this where you could see the kills happen. But if it was intentionally done this way, it is a little bit annoying, where it'll show a character at the archery range. You would immediately assume that this is how she dies. She gets shot with an arrow. She's at the archery range. Of course, that's what's going to happen. But she shows up later, and I don't remember if she had like arrow wounds on her. I think that's kind of what it was supposed to be, but you don't actually get to see her die. That's why I didn't remember what happened, because you don't actually get to see it. It is really a little bit on the annoying side, and it fucks with my memory. Okay, so we're going to go back to Jorts now. Jorts is in town. I think the only thing he's done all day, because I would imagine he left sometime earlier, because a lot of stuff has happened since then. So he's been in town most of the day. I don't know if he was able to find any date rape drugs or not, because he never actually hurts anybody. I have a feeling he might have if, you know, Miss Voorhees hasn't showed up and saved everyone like the hero she is. But it's raining really hard at this point. There's a hell of a storm going on, and Jorts is sitting at a diner with the embodiment of the 50s, which is like this old woman with humongous glasses and big, poofy, curly red hair. And, you know, they're at the diner. He just had a milkshake, and he's like, I gotta go back to camp. Those kids might need me. For what reason? I don't know. But he's going back in the middle of this fucking insane storm, where he has to drive down a lot of fucking back roads that are nothing but rocks and dirt. Makes a lot of sense to me. I mean, I guess at least he's in a Jeep. Doesn't help him much, because he ends up off the side of the road. Even in his fucking obviously like off-road built, probably four-wheel drive vehicle, he's still thrown off the road. But did he have a phone on him? Did they have those bag phones in the 80s? Because I thought those bag phones like first started becoming a thing in like late 90s, maybe? I don't remember. Random cop pulls up and gives him a ride, taking him back to the camp. Why the cop was just driving around this dirt road in the middle of the night during a thunderstorm? I don't know. Have no fucking clue. But he's giving him a ride now. Cops just talking about, what was he talking about? Talking about random blah 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 cop stuff, arresting people, throwing them in jail, what he does best, what all cops and movies talk about. So we have that little scene, and then we're going to cut back to the rest of the campers. What is everybody else doing right now? And everybody else at this point pretty much just consists of Stupid Guy and Justin Bieber, because everybody else at this point is either like off screen, probably dead, or confirmed dead. And I think the only one that is probably dead is Kermit the Frog. Yeah, Kermit the Frog and or Grandma. They are the same person. Grandma wore a green jacket, and therefore she was Kermit the Frog for like 5 minutes. So Justin Bieber and Dumb Guy are walking around looking for Grandma, presumably, because I don't think they ever talk about Kevin Bacon and his girlfriend. The only one they talk about is Grandma. They're just looking for her, but they can't find her anywhere. They've looked in all the cabins. They looked in her cabin. Oh, they looked in her cabin, and they find the axe that Kevin Bacon's girlfriend got killed with, just like all nice and tucked into bed, and there's a little bit of blood on the pillow. And instead of just like, oh, he's sleeping, they go pick the axe up, and they're like, oh no, something bad's going down. So now they got to get out of here. But of course, nothing works. The phones don't work. They can't call the police. Their car doesn't work. Someone sabotaged the vehicle because Mrs. Voorhees has just got all the bases covered. No phones, no vehicle, no way out except for walking through the woods, and she'll probably still find them. Now, realistically, though, if they just decided to walk off in the woods, they'd probably be able to get away. They'd have to be very unlucky. Like, she would have to be just stalking all of them at the same time. Somebody would get away. They'd be all right. With this movie, one of them would probably like just fall down and break their neck or something. Like, they got away from Mrs. Voorhees, but they still, fell and hit their head on a rock, and they died anyway. So whatever. Okay, now after that little spat, we're back at Jorts. The Jorts and the cop are finally almost at Camp Crystal Lake. The cop has been talking all kinds of bullshit about the full moon. He's obviously a very fucking what is the term? What is the opposite of skeptical? Oh, whatever, it doesn't matter. I'm just not even I won't include that. Alright, so the cop is dropping off, the cop is dropping Jorts off because he got a call on his radio, and he's got to head out to do real cop stuff, not just, give this weirdo in his short jean shorts a ride back to his camp. So Jorts, which I guess he didn't actually have very much farther to walk. Just immediately after that, we're back at Camp Crystal Lake. He's walking up to the sign, and boom, light in his face. But he knows who it is. He knows it's Mrs. Voorhees, but he doesn't but he doesn't actually say her name. He just says, "Oh, like, what are you doing here?" And then just stabs straight in the heart. But we know another kill that happens like off camera. Like, all of these have to be like, they had to have been cut or something. It really sucks that you don't get like a satisfying kill out of this, because you've seen the one where he gets stabbed through the neck and the axe, and they're like, they can do it, like they can do it good, but something had to have happened. It was like the like ratings board or something had to have cut all this shit out, made them cut this out so it could be in theaters. It's kind of disappointing, especially watching it on like a home version. If I saw it in theaters, I probably wouldn't be too upset about it, because I know that they weren't allowed to include that stuff. But you think you could get an unrated version. So Jorts is dead, and now, because I thought the power had already been knocked out, but I was wrong. Now the power is knocked out. Now this dude is lighting up a lamp with kerosene or whatever. It's probably a kerosene lamp, whatever the most common oil lamp is. Doesn't matter. Completely irrelevant. He's going to go turn the generator back on because everything just got knocked out, and that's a man's job. Or he is the one that said it was a man's job earlier in the kitchen. He was like, "So macho, Kevin Bacon going to start the generator, blah blah blah," and he's going to get it started now. So he makes it down to the generator, and he's trying to figure out how to get it back going. Actually, you know what? It didn't even get knocked out. It just ran out of gas, because that's what he's looking for here. He's just, where's the gas can? I gotta fill the gas back up. So he finds it, and he's headed back outside, getting ready to head back over where the Beebs has finally laid down and started to go to sleep, thinking we've got to a point where everything's safe, or it's just, at least it's so late that the Beebs needs some of his beauty sleep. Startle's awake, trying to find out where Stupid Guy went, but Stupid Guy has already been killed. Mrs. Voorhees has somehow nailed him to a door with arrows. Like, he is just hung on this door. And she runs out of the cabin. She's trying to find him, and then she finds him there, stuck on the door. He's also wearing a flannel. I've got him written down here as flannel a lot. But I think Stupid Guy works better because he was the one acting like a jackass when the cops showed up. Oh my god. Alright, now we have my favorite scene in the whole movie. When she runs down there to find him, she's like, "Oh my god, no, Stupid Guy is dead. Now there's just me. I don't have any friends anymore. Everyone's gone." She runs back to the cabin. She's so freaked out, and she grabs a rope and starts to throw it over a beam and starts to like tie it up. And I'm like, what the fuck, is she about to hang herself? But no, that's not what's gonna happen. That would have been really funny if that's what happened. Like if she just threw a rope up there, tied a noose real quick, and just that was it. That was it for her. She just decided she was going to take the easy way out. She's not going to have to deal with this killer and get stabbed to a door or nothing. I control how I die. She was taking the power in her own hands. No. She ties the doorknob to this door shut, which I really wonder if anybody thought about this as this was going on. She throws all of these chairs and stuff in front of this door that opens out. So there's no reason to have done that. And it kind of circles back around to this a little later. She throws all those chairs in front of the door, which does absolutely nothing, would do absolutely nothing to keep anyone out. So she's back in here, she's tripping out, she's throwing all of these chairs in front of the door. She's probably about to cry, and this is where we find out that Grandma is dead. She gets thrown through the window of the cabin. I don't know how Mrs. Voorhees managed to do this, because that would be a very heavy body. It's just dead weight. But she just crashes through the window. She's got cuts and stuff all over her. I think she actually did get killed at the archery range. That would make sense, because they kind of alluded to that at the beginning of the movie. What else am I supposed to think happened to her? And it's probably not really that important if that's not how it happened. So at this point, when she's thrown through the window, she freaks out. She runs out the back door. She's trying to just, I guess, just plans on leaving the camp. Mrs. Voorhees pulls up in her Jeep, which, like I said before, earlier in the video, looks exactly like the Jeep that Jorts was driving. So she probably thinks it's Jorts pulling up. She's like, "Oh, good, Jorts is here. He'll help me." And Mrs. Voorhees gets out, and it's like, just trying to be, trying to act like she's just this nice old lady. Like, what's going on there, sweetie? What's going on? And she's freaking out because she's not Jorts, and she's like, "Who the fuck are you?" Blah, blah, blah. She's screaming about how everybody's dead, and Mrs. Voorhees is just completely blowing it off, like this girl is just crazy or whatever. Just go show me where they are, honey. And then this is where the throwing the shit in front of the door comes back around. She goes over there and just like pulls the door open with no problem, and then just steps inside and like looks at all of this crap piled in front of the door, and just kind of has this face like, "What the fuck did you think you were doing? Like, did you think this was going to stop me?" And okay, they get in there, and Mrs. Voorhees has gotten her in there and sit down in a chair, and she does what a lot of old women do, and she just decides to tell her fucking life story, and just starts talking about how she was a camp counselor, and she knew all of these people, and she knew the people that originally opened the camp, and blah blah blah, and everything. That they let my baby die. They let him drown. He drowned in the lake. They knew he couldn't swim. And she just goes nuts, and they start their whole little fight, which really is not that impressive. These two people are just like, I don't know. I feel like in a horror movie, it's very important that you sell it, like that your life is actually in danger here. And I don't feel like with either one of them fighting that anything bad would have ever come of this. Like maybe not even a bruise. They just kind of roll around on each other most of the time. They start fighting a little bit, and Justin Bieber kind of gets up and decides that, this woman is crazy. This must be the person that's been killing everybody, or that's been trying to kill everyone, is currently trying to kill me. I just need to get away. So she tries to run back out the front door and trips on a bunch of the crap that she put there, and just like smack, just hits the ground, and is heading out towards the Jeep. She's going to jump in Mrs. Voorhees' Jeep and run away, but Jorts somehow ended up in a tree and just like falls down and scares the shit out of her. And I don't know how Jorts ended up there, but okay. But at this point, we get a confirmation, because you didn't really get to see it, that he was stabbed in the chest. We mostly just get to see the bodies in this movie. You don't get to see like the action of it. After she finds Jorts, she gets really scared and just kind of runs off into the darkness of the woods. I don't know where she's going. She apparently knows where she's going. She's going to a cabin we've never seen before, which is like armed for some sort of small military coup. There are so many fucking guns in here. Like, they have this massive gun rack, and I'm guessing they're all just for like target practice, skeet shooting, maybe something like that. I mean, what do people do at camp? I don't fucking know. I've never been to camp. Have you been to camp? You can tell me in the comments what people do at camp. She gets this gun. She's looking around for ammo, and I'm guessing the only ammo in this little, fucking militia room is in this locked part of the desk. And she takes one of the guns and she's trying to knock it off with the butt of the gun, but when you're watching this, she literally never actually hits the lock. Even if she did hit the lock really hard, she probably wouldn't break it, but her feeble attempt is just disappointing. Like, come on, at least try. At least fucking try. Or maybe she was trying and she's just completely fucking incompetent at saving her own ass. Who knows? So this doesn't work. Mrs. Voorhees shows up. They start fighting. They start going at it. And they roll around for a little bit. Mrs. Voorhees seems like she's going to get the upper hand on her, but no. Beebs says, fuck that. Bam! Straight in the fucking cunt with the gun. Almost knocks her off her feet. She falls back, hits like a bunch of, look like sandbags or something, and falls over, and Justin Bieber just runs the fuck away. Back to the original cabin where they were fighting. Past all the chairs in front of the door. It's like, why the fuck did you go back there? That's gonna be the first damn place she looks for you. How stupid do you think this woman is? Find another cabin to hide in, or just go off in the woods and just keep going. When she gets back to this place, she turns all the lights off, which, why would you do that if the lights were on? I mean, because that's just gonna be a dead giveaway that you've done this. And she goes and hides in the pantry, which has a lock for some reason. What the Mrs. Voorhees, having seen that the pantry is locked, and is like, why would a pantry be locked? Of course. I mean, I would want to know what the fuck was going on in there if someone was like, yeah, that's the pantry right there. And I'm like, oh, it's locked. But like, what? I want to find out what the fuck is in this pantry. Is there a body in there? A moment when she breaks one of the panels off and she can see her through the door. And she's like, I found you. She unlocks the lock and comes in there, and she's about to stab her with this machete that she has now, which ends up being Jason's #1 weapon for later in the series. It's what the weapon he's fucking known for. She gets hit in the head with a skillet that Beebs is using, and we think at this point maybe it's over. But Beebs, who has hit this woman multiple times now and not just decided, alright, it's time to finish her off. This lady is clearly trying to kill me. Maybe I should just take advantage of a moment of her weakness and finish her off. Therefore, she won't be able to try and kill me anymore. Nope. Beebs ain't going to do that. Beebs don't want to double tap. Beebs just decided we're just going to head down to the lake and we're going to sit next to a canoe for some reason, just waiting for Mrs. Voorhees to show back up so we can see her face in the lake and narrowly dodge getting murdered with a machete. Nope. Finally gets it in her head that she has to finish this woman off. So she bolts for the machete, which has been thrown away in their little sword fight, grabs it, runs at Mrs. Voorhees like, this is finally over. I have to finish you. You're not gonna stop unless I do this. If she wasn't able to hit this woman hard enough with a cast iron skillet to put her down for more than like 5 seconds, how in the hell was she able to swing this machete hard enough to decapitate her? This had to go through her spine, for fuck's sake. That's a very resilient bone. I mean, come the fuck on. Decapitations are cool, but I just don't see the Beebs pulling it off. Now, Mrs. Voorhees is dead. The threat has finally been neutralized. She gets in her little boat, instead of trying a normal person would do. She gets in the canoe and just like the most iconic scene, and probably any of the movies, is Jason hopping up out of the water, all mangled. He's still a child, or I guess he's supposed to be worn away by the water or something, or maybe he's really there. Maybe is he? I don't know, because he comes back in the other movies, and in the second one, it's like he's alive. So was he alive, or does this movie actually have any like storyline continuity to it? I think this is one of the ones where they just kind of ignore all the bullshit and they just make another movie and they don't really worry about the events of the last one. But Jason comes up out of the water, grabs her, scares the shit out of her, and she just wakes up in a hospital where she's asking the doctors, is anyone else still alive? Is everyone okay? And then they have to tell her that no, you're the only one that survived. Beebs, somehow you're the only one that made it out of there, man. Friday the 13th is a great movie if you haven't seen it. And especially if you like horror movies in general or old slasher films. Pretty much everybody knows what this fucking series is and has seen at least one of the movies. I personally haven't seen all of them. I've seen Friday the 13th 1 and 2, and I think Jason Goes to Hell and Jason X, which is horrible. That's like one of the worst movies I've ever seen. Still funny though. Still funny. Oh, and Freddy vs. Jason. Freddy vs. Jason is amazing. But if you haven't seen these movies, you need to fucking check them out. They've got awesome box sets that are out now where you can get all like the original movies for, I think I got mine for like $30. I love all the box sets and everything that are coming out for old school slasher films where you can get them all for just cheap ass price. Check them out. And if you like this video, consider hitting that subscribe button and come back and check out some more movie reviews and probably more fucking creepypasta bullshit. Thank you for watching. Bye-bye.